Ladies and gentlemen, as always, welcome to NDTV. In the last leg of electioneering and the final phase of polling, Punjab remains the keenest contest. And as always, Punjab is a state known for throwing up surprises. This morning, I joined you from Chandigarh, again a very keenly contested place, and I'm joined by a very distinguished panel to talk about the politics, the society, and the present day situation in the state of Punjab. To my right is Mrs. Manraj Grewal Sharma, resident editor of Indian Express, Professor Ronki, Gurpreet, our colleague in Chandigarh, Mr. Dhillon, and to my left is Mr. Pramod, who is known to be a big scholarly voice in the state of Punjab, residing in Chandigarh. My first question to the lady on my right, Madam Manraj, welcome to NDTV. How do you see these elections panning out?
These are very interesting elections because they come just 2 years after Punjab threw up a huge surprise. You know, it gave a never-before mandate of 92 out of 117 seats to a newcomer like Aam Aadmi Party, and the traditional parties were almost decimated, with Akali Dal, which is the oldest regional party of India, getting as few as 3 seats. So this election coming so close after that, it's being watched very keenly because both Akali Dal is fighting for its revival, Congress...
Or survival.
Yeah, I don't think it'll... whatever.
Come to that.
And then Congress, you know, it suddenly found itself being poached all around. BJP is a mini Congress. So Congress suffered a lot after this. Most of its people went to BJP. Many of them went to jail. Many of them are facing corruption charges. So it also wants to make some kind of comeback. So, and then you have AAP. The Chief Minister has gone on record to say that it's going to be a reality check for his government for these over 2 years of governance. And for the first time, Punjab has a multi-cornered contest. You have BJP going solo, Akali Dal, AAP, Congress, and then you have a number of very robust independent candidates. You also have Akali Dal Amritsar, Simranjeet Singh Mann. So it is mind-boggling, and as Dr. Pramod Kumar was saying before this, Punjab could again throw up a surprise. So although we are saying that the contest is mainly between Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, which ironically the two parties are allies in rest of as part of the India bloc in other states, but here they are, the main rivals. But because of this contest, because of this four-cornered contest, for once, or multi-cornered contest, for once all of us are at loss. You know, otherwise we would have given so many seats to so many seats to Congress or whatever. But this is where we really wondering what will be the outcome. So Punjabi voter Punjab is proving that it's a very fertile ground for democracy, that it understands democracy in its truest sense.
Dr. Kumar, Punjab understands democracy in its truest sense, says Mrs. Grewal.
I fully agree with her, because Punjab has a distinct story to tell, totally different from India.
And what is that distinct story?
The first distinct story is that political narrative, which is at the national level, like Ram Janambhoomi Nirman, Article 370, and then you may add, a number of other, initiatives which the BJP is marketing at the national level, and also collapse of the constitution in India, the fear and the threat.
That opposition
saying that narrative is totally missing in Punjab. Punjab has its own narrative. Its narrative is share in waters, Chandigarh to Punjab,
or the traditional narrative
of Punjab, and they have it, and regionalization of issues of Punjab. So therefore the emerging of the regional space is happening in Punjab, number one. Number two, Punjab doesn't have exclusive vote banks.
But Professor, tell me something, Doctor, tell me something, that has always been the case. Punjab has always been sort of leading light of regional identity, at least in North India.
Yeah, but the whole thing, why it is different this time, Punjab has always, as Manraj was mentioning, functioned in alliances. Okay. There used to be alliance between Akalis and BJP, alliance between Congress and the CPI, but this time you have an alliance in India bloc,
So
and
this is
NDA. But now in Punjab, everybody is fighting solo. And that makes Punjab again a different. And it will have a different story to tell.
so this is political splintering. If I can request Gurpreet to speak to Professor Roundki on the fact of the political splintering of the mainline political ideologies or parties.
And what are the main issues which are coming up in this election?
You see, when we try to figure out how Punjab is different, as Professor Pramod said very rightly, but the thing is that it's quite interesting. You find Punjab was the place when BJP and the Akali Dal, the two opposite parties on the two opposite poles of the, religious dimensions, they were together here. But quite interestingly, when the whole of India, barring few regions, where Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are aligned, in India alliance, quite interestingly in Punjab both are separate.
But don't you think that it gives a different message among the masses in Punjab, because one side they have a forced alliance, and so many times we have seen even the opposition party, they are also targeting, they have a hand in glove in national capital and other places. Do you think it will also leave an impact on the voters?
I'll give you one example to understand this point. You see in Punjab, we find that Akali Dal, for some it is a question of survival, for some they are saying that they are trying to retain their, visibility. But if you see in Punjab right now, Akali Dal is trying to not make visible and survival issue as far as this election is concerned. They are trying to present a new narrative of making India a true federal structure country. And in here, Akali Dal says that we are going to present as a regional identity, a new face. So Akali Dal is not bothering about winning or losing election. Even after losing all election, Akali Dal on the stand of the regional identity is a winner. So,
let's take a version of Mr. Dillon also, so that we will be able to. So, sir, how do you see this election?
There is a very big issue in Punjab, that is of drug issue. Everyone, every individual, wherever he or she is, they feel very much concerned about that. And fortunately or unfortunately, many leaders are taking up this issue, but the party which is ruling, they have totally ignored this.
But in the last two elections, in the Vidhan Sabha elections, we have seen this was the one of the main issue which was being raised by the political parties. So do you think that is still existing?
That is existing more seriously now. And the people are, feeling very much agitated on this account, because every day, one or two young people we are losing because of the drugs. So this ruling party is not taking up that issue so seriously as was expected from them.
The fact that we are trying to, sort of weave together here, or at least it can be seen, the common thread, is about regional identity, is about true federalism, as Professor Roundki says. But then these issues have been there as always. As far back as I can remember, these issues have existed. What has changed? Obviously, this is a very dramatic development to which you bring our attention to, that to the decimation of not only the Congress party, which has been fairly dominant in Punjabi politics of late, but of Akali Dal also. A newcomer has come. But even after newcomers' emergence just so recently, there is still again a splintering. So what's exactly the churn that is going on?
I think Punjab, there are socio-economic reasons for it. There's a political vacuum of leadership. And you see there's so many...
Of an overarching leadership.
Yeah, overarching leadership. So, and Punjabis are impatient. And also, you mentioned those issues. So if you see, there are unresolved issues from a very long time. Right from the 80s. The Dharam Yudh Morcha was fought on the issue of the river waters, division of river waters. Chandigarh, you rightly pointed out, continues to be contested. So all these issues, and then you have another layer of sacrilege over them. Then you have drugs. So Punjab, and then of course Green Revolution, the fruits of Green Revolution, that is done and dusted with. We've been speaking of diversification for so long, but that hasn't happened on the ground.
Hasn't happened.
Then there's, look at the number of youths who are going abroad. So earlier it was only the wealthy who could send their children abroad. Now your driver is mortgaging his land to send his child overseas for education after 12th. So it's as if anywhere but here. So Punjab is in a churn because it is deeply dissatisfied, deeply disappointed, and the youngsters have huge aspirations, but they don't have any way to fulfill them. So this is the ground on which you have this new party, because Punjabis are doing their bit. They are saying, like, as a true democracy, we will give a chance to everyone. We need an alternative. The old parties haven't been able to solve these issues. And then this new party comes, and then there's this, the freebies there's more focus on the freebies. You have one of the major guarantees of Aam Aadmi Party has been 300 units of free power to everyone. So there are lots and lots of people in Punjab who've got zero power bill. And you would assume that, and then you have Aam Aadmi clinics which are doing fairly well. Free medicine, free diagnostic, and so on. But you would assume that people are very happy and AAP will be their shining star. But that's not true. In fact,
Maybe the election is not for assembly?
Maybe it's not for the assembly, but generally there is this discontent. And just 3 months, in fact, after the AAP sweep, it lost the first Lok Sabha by polls in Sangrur.
Yes,
and
indeed.
that to Simranjeet Singh Mann, who had been in hibernation for so long. So I think people are looking for a solution. They are looking for a problem solution provider, and they are not really able to find the right person or the right solution. But it's a state which is ripe for another revolution in the fields,
In the socio-political
arena, because you have drugs which have done terrible things to our youngsters, to families, and to the future as well, because very young children are involved in it. So this is the state, and it used to be, the shining state of India. It's no longer that.
The crown
it's
jewel.
a poor state with rich people. There's so many contradictions in Punjab, which are reflected in the political arena as well, in their political choices. So here is a state which is desperately looking for a way out.
So it's a poor state with rich people, doctor. But the fact is that, is it because Punjabis, she says, they are impatient people. I know Punjabis are impatient people. But is it too much of a focus on the state? Look, if the people are well off, state's capacity, and I know, and each one of us knows, will always remain very limited to make any impact to your lives, particularly if you are well off. So after that, how much do you expect from the state? Are the expectations misplaced, or is there a churn in the expectations themselves, that people are not satisfied with what they have got and they are looking for something path-breaking?
I think that state is in churning, and particularly the symptom came to the front with the farmers' protest. And the farmer protest happened at a time when the liberalization process was on, and it is the only protest which was against that process of liberalization of economy. The farmers lost economic hegemony. They have also lost political hegemony. So they are now that kind of hegemony to return. But they have been pushed from the seller market to the buyer market. Now somebody may pick up their produce or may not pick up their produce. So they are
unwilling to accept that.
Naturally, what can they do? You have invested in the farmers all these years. Now at a point when they are facing this crisis, the Indian state looks the other way. And they feel very resentful about this.
That's one view, because Indian state will then say that at some point in time you will have to, as Manraj herself said, that we will have been talking about crop diversification, or we are also been talking about the MSP regime. These things, of course, they were introduced at a particular point in time, but are not, according to a large chunk of economists, unsustainable.
The question is, I want to diversify in Madhya Pradesh and Western UP, where you are starting up in this process all over again. This is a paucity of agriculture policy at the national level. So therefore, they don't have a holistic policy where you have to see that if the state is reached a saturation point, how to rejuvenate the land, provide them the alternative. You have not worked on it. And today you are saying the people are looking for alternative. They look for alternative in Aam Aadmi Party for change. It collapsed. Within 2 years, you have seen that people have lost their hope. And now at the fringe element, the radical element which is emerging at the fringes, people have started seeing alternative to that. That is my fear. It is happening in 3 constituencies in Punjab, maybe Khadur Sahib, then Faridkot, and then Sangrur. People are looking for some alternative, some change in again, I mean, something which we call it fringe radical. Why it happened? Because the moderate politics has failed to deliver. Moderate politics is not generating trust of the people, the kind of policy they want to pursue. So it's a moderate politics is coming to the crisis.
Certainly,
And that is why the leadership.
certainly, that would be one view of looking at it, because as I said, politicians will also think, or politicians, as I said, that the state's capacity, Manraj said correctly, it's a state with rich people, and then to satisfy the rich people also remains a challenge, because your living standards are at a certain level. Beyond that, whether the state interventions will help or not is a point. But nonetheless, as being pointed out again and again, it's a state in the churn. Now, the churn is not necessarily a bad thing in a democracy. Churns have always produced something better for the governing system of democracy. What do you think, Professor, is the way forward in terms of people's own realization that on the one side is the state intervention, on the other side is their own issues about socio-cultural relevance, like, if a drug issue is persistent, and it's a persistent issue, then obviously it's more of a social issue, it's a societal issue, than you can obviously, states can intervene, but it will only yield as much result.
You see, it's very interesting. If you try to look into this whole scenario, you find it. One thing is very crystally clear and quite obvious, Nikunj. That is, in this election, you compare it with 2022's assembly election, you find non-diasporic element is visible.
Is?
Visible.
That's...
Why? Because it was earlier a full plane load of diasporic, Punjabi natives. They came here. I said diasporic Punjabi native. But
that's a good knowledge.
But now the natives are only here. No diasporic, elements are here. This is one thing. Very interesting. Because this does not make this election very dull. But if you can go, because you people, the media, they often go to the by-lanes of the villages. I'm not saying by-lanes of cities, by-lanes of the villages. You go to the Punjab villages, you find no one is bothering about who come to talk to them, to interview them, because they have seen 5 years Congress, 5 years Akali, then
10 years Akali, 1 decade of Akali.
Then again 10 years for the only time in Punjab Akalis. First 5 year Akali, Congress 5 years, then 10 years Akalis. Now they thought we have alternative which Professor Pramod has rightly pointed out. They find to deal with at one point of time. That boomeranged, that went out of the entire Punjab hand. Rather it went out of the whole of the country. It became we can say disastrous. So they thought, no, we need something else. So at a time in 2014, they only throw their spanner by sending 4 MPs. But in 2017, they did not agree with this. Then in 2022, they again gave a surprise, 92 seats. But this time, they are not interested.
Sir, Professor, I have another question. Manraj has mentioned about the migration of youth from Punjab to the foreign countries. Do you think this is also one of the main issues? The youth is not interacting with leaders, they don't have trust on the leadership?
But this issue is not only confined to Punjab. This is a whole India phenomenon. But people in Punjab, they do want to go abroad because the state has slowly and steadily, as Professor Pramod used to write, quite regularly in his write-ups, state has withdrawn. And in Punjab, in the place of state, some deras they have taken into. So they start providing such facilities like health facilities, education facilities, transport facilities. They have their own petrol pumps, they have their own colleges, schools. People are doing this. But people in Punjab not only started going now. Let me quickly tell you one thing. Punjab was a place where people never went out. Here people used to come from abroad. Spaniard came here, French came here, Italian came here, British came here. But the first time the Punjabis start going abroad during the 2 World War. But now Punjabis going abroad not to abandon Punjab. Wherever they go, because Punjabi mein kehte hain unki taar yahin bajti hai. But this time, interestingly, why diaspora people did not come to Punjab? It's very interesting. So we have to see it.
Okay. And Dhillon Sahab, you were mentioning about the drug issue also. Yes. Do you think the migration of the youth is also one of the issues?
That is one of the factors. But now there is a very big vacuum of leadership, especially in the Sikh community, which is very virile. I have heard, though I have not gone to Faridkot. I belong to that, district myself, and Khadur Sahib. There is a very important factor which is mentioned repeatedly by people, that 27 we are going to have a proper leadership to capture political power in Punjab. That is being repeated by people who are ordinary people, and they are conscious of the fact that the present leadership has not delivered anything to them. Rather, they have negated whatever they said. So this is a very serious issue which should be examined properly and should be taken care of.
What is your viewpoint? Why this is emerging? Or do you think that the leaders were not able to come to action?
Leadership, either of the Akalis, moderate Akalis, Badal group you can say, or the Congress, they have not delivered anything which was expected of Punjab, and the people are totally disillusioned with the present leadership. And as Pramod has said, after 3 months, that seat which they started saying that this is our capital, political capital, Sangrur, they lost. And they lost to Simranjit Maan. So now these things have changed drastically so far as the ground reality is concerned. Unfortunately, most of the journalists, they talk, from distances. But on the ground, the reality is different. The people are thinking that we have to capture ourselves the political power. And from the Khadur Sahib, from Faridkot, people in the streets, in the villages, they are saying all these things. They have become conscious of the fact that we have to capture leadership ourselves rather than handing over to the persons from outside, from here and there.
Manraj, as always, last question and last words to a lady. Interesting, engaging conversation. But one thing that, of course, what Mr. Dhillon brings out is that the threat of that radical fringe, which has, again, like the contest of Chandigarh or the river water distribution, it's a persistent theme in Punjabi politics. The threat of that radical fringe, what we call as radical fringe, as someone rightly
But don't call it radical
yeah,
fringe.
as
they are representing the state within the framework of the constitution. They have taken oath of the constitution.
As Mr. Dhillon says that,
Don't malign them.
there is not, it may not be actually, those are not my words. Those words have been largely used. So I'm not maligning anybody, Mr. Dhillon, but that's the terminology, that's the terminology that has been widely used. So let's not, as I said, let's not make it quarrelsome, but all I'm saying is that's the term widely used. The fact of the matter is that these are all continuous themes, and the state itself has gone through the churn, which is, to my mind, to the mind of an educated observer, the fact that even again, somebody can contest the word the lowest strata, but people even at the bottom of the pyramid are wanting to send their children abroad. This is a nationwide phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon restricted to...
very aspirational.
And it's not a phenomenon restricted to Punjab only. But then what it results in at the end of the day, if you go to Karnataka also, probably today, the bottom of the pyramid are still sending their children. Same with Andhra Pradesh. It's let's not have a myopic view of that. But then what it does is that there is a huge talent migration. Punjab has always suffered from talent migration because obviously there has been a much higher migration from Punjab compared to other places, which those places are now catching up. One is talent migration. One is the economy in disarray because obviously the large farming community feels so. And then, of course, as Mr. Dhillon points out, that there is a feeling, strong one, that there is a vacuum in the political leadership. How do you see these issues playing themselves out politically, socially, and how do you think, them finding a solution? Because obviously the solution that was found in the last assembly elections, let me not name any political party, this is not a political discussion, is certainly not satisfied many people according to many observers. So how do you think that all of this playing out from here on? Will this Lok Sabha election in that sense help that process of the state finding its own feet once all over again and filling those vacuums? Or do you think it will take a longer period of time?
I hope the elections, the results they threw up will lead to some soul searching by all the parties concerned. Because it doesn't seem like any one party is just going to sweep it and walk away with all the gains. It doesn't seem like that. So I sincerely hope that the leaders will do some soul searching, and they will also, because every time it's like applying there's an injury and you just
Apply a band-aid.
You apply a band-aid and then you again remove the band-aid and all of that. That is continuously happening. So what Punjab needs is a very good structure of education. We need to transform ourselves from an agrarian to maybe more food processing industries. How is
A
this
manufacturing
that?
society.
So because what the good thing this time when I went to the people is that all of them said, don't make us beggars. This is amazing. It's never happened because people are so annoyed. 1,000 rupees nahi dete, they haven't given us this or that.
But then Punjabis are a proud race.
Yeah, so they are saying, give us jobs. And it's not government jobs. Make a very fertile environment where you can have jobs, where you can have industry coming in. So that is something new that I found this time. And I think that gives us a ray of hope. Because people are saying, what you do is reduce the inflation. Don't give us freebies. Freebies, mothers are saying, they are making our children lazy. We don't want our children to just, lie around in the house, do drugs, because khana to mil hi jayega. That is not the way. They want they want development. The development is a new word, and development doesn't mean free electricity or development means industry. Development means jobs. Development means diversification and hand-holding of the farmers. So you can't tell a farmer now do this. You will have to tell him how to do it, and you will have to create a market for him because then he'll run with it. He'll do extremely well. And we need very good education structure right from the bottom to the very top. What has been done is it's been somehow haphazard, and also after militancy, Punjab has never really recovered, be it in terms of education, be it in terms of industry. And every government is so myopic, looking at just their own gains, that
And their own constituencies.
yeah, constituencies, that a bigger growth, something that is why people still talk so fondly of Pratap Singh Kehron, the Chief Minister.
Yes.
So these are the things that need to be taken care of. And when it comes to, as he was saying, don't give them a bad names, the independents we have, they are an experiment. Punjab has never really voted for a party which has had a completely separatist agenda. History will show it.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Pramod Kumar, and we were talking the other day, he how Punjab is majority, Sikh majority state, has never, either Hindus or Sikhs in Punjab, never vote along the lines of religion, nor do Dalits vote en bloc.
Interestingly, Raja Warding, the PCC president, was
Yeah.
making that point to me in a while.
Yeah. So it's a very, what we need is good leadership, and I hope these elections will lead to some good, sincere soul searching by the parties.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in a way, I may disappoint you by saying this, but this is a fact. These are the things that Manraj tells me are the things that entire country is actually looking for. A good basic infrastructure in education, job opportunities, development, and government actually being a partner in showing the way forward and not actually not giving out doles to people. So it's, to my mind, it's not actually anything unique or specific to Punjab. This is how the entire country looks at government partnerships, opportunity, jobs, development, etc. But nonetheless, thank you very much to all of you. Very engaging conversation. And as I said, Punjab is the keenest contest, at least in North India, in the remaining last leg of electioneering. And it's always great to hear from some of the very prominent experts in their field. Thank you very much.